Good day everyone, and welcome to IELTS lessons in 15 minutes. In today's lesson, we will be reviewing one of the most important criteria in both IELTS writing and speaking, the grammar, more specifically the adverbial clauses. Now, how are these useful in IELTS Writing Task 2? In IELTS writing, the examiner will be monitoring closely to assess how well you know and use these clauses, the GRA, or the Grammatical Range and Accuracy. Adverbial clauses are types of complex sentences. Now, these are the 6 types of adverbial clauses. We have here time, condition, reason, purpose, concession, and place. Now, let's start with adverbial clause time. Now, this clause is actually in reference to a period of time or another event. Now again, a clause has a subject and a verb and possibly an object. Now let's study the example sentences here. The first sentence here is, the city has become overcrowded even before skyscrapers are built. Second example, as the climate gets hotter, sea levels will rise. Third example, rates of obesity increase when too much junk food is eaten. And example number 4, since the plastic ban is implemented, the quantity of plastic in seawater significantly decline. So as you notice here, the highlighted words here are time clauses, which signifies a certain period of time. Now, we can also connect ideas using other adverbs of time. So we have here after, as long as, while, and until. Now, can we practice on our own? Let's try this exercise, and I want you to finish the sentence here by giving your reasons and explanation. So, for example, it says here, after building roads, and the example sentence here, after building more roads, the flow of traffic in many cities has become lighter because the construction has opened more space for vehicles. As a result, the travel time has significantly been reduced and the work attrition caused by long commute has dropped. Now on your own, I want you to finish these sentences, and I want you to give reasons and explanations of your answer. And you may pause this video when doing this activity. Now let's move on to the next type of adverbial clause, which is the conditional clauses. Now, what are these conditional clauses? This expresses a hypothesis or condition which is either real or imagined. Now let's study some of the example sentences here. The first sentence here is this one. If humans are cloned, it may have horrible consequences. Second example, food will not be safe unless GM or genetically modified crops are banned. So as you can see, we use here the conjunction if and unless to signify signify a hypothesis or condition. Now let's practice on our own, and in this exercise I want you to finish the sentence by giving your reasons and explanations. So for example here, if people continue to use plastic for packaging, the amount of plastic trash disposed in the ocean would increase, resulting to destruction of the marine environment, most specifically the wild sea animals. Now I want you to finish these sentences here by giving your reasons and explanation. So we have here, unless people start to reduce using the private cars when commuting. So what could be your hypothesis, which can be real or imagined. Number 3 here we have, if high tax is imposed on commercial flights. Alright, commercial flights here. Yes, what could happen? What could be your hypothesis, whether it is real or imagined. Now let's move on to the third type of adverbial clause, which is the reason clauses. Now what is reason clauses? Now this explains the why of the situation. Now let's study some of the examples here. The first example, the problems on road congestion remains a matter of concern because, so why? Because some people are not cooperating with the government. So that's the why there. The why there is that some people are not cooperating with the government. The second example here is poverty has increased. Why? Since the government cuts spending. All right, so by the time the government has cut spending, poverty has increased. Number 3, air pollution is increasing. Why? As there are too many cars running on roads and highways. All right, so again, the reason clauses here specify or explains the situation or the why of the situation. Okay, now let's have a practice here, and in this exercise I want you to answer the question by giving reasons and examples, and you have to give here adverbial clause reason. For example, why do some students skip classes? Now, some students dodge the classes. Why? Because some of them are unhappy at home and may want to seek happiness among their peers. Oftentimes, peer influence is not always helpful, since many of these age groups do not have a right model of good behavior and conducts. Okay, so you have to finish here other questions by giving your reasons and examples. All right, now let's move on to the next type of clauses, which is the purpose clauses. Now, what is a purpose clauses? Now, this explains the purpose of doing something. Now, let's study some of the examples here. The first example here says, the government is encouraging people to take the public transportation. Was a purpose? In order to lessen the amount of road congestion on roads and highways. So that is the purpose. Second example, work from home must be permitted. What is a purpose? So that work attrition among workers will be reduced. Okay, so in here you have to answer the question, what is the purpose? All right, and you have to connect idea using the subordinating conjunctions, more specifically the adverbial clause purpose. Okay, now let's study some of the let's check here some of the exercise we have to do. Now, what you need to do right now is I want you to answer the question by giving reasons and examples. For example, we have here, why should people reduce the use of plastic? And we have to use here conjunction, so subordinate conjunction, so that. And an example here, consumers must limit the use of single-use plastic. The purpose of that is so that they can contribute in reducing the impact of climate change brought by the increasing amount of trash in the seawater. It is therefore necessary to use paper bags to replace the use of plastic. Now, I want you to answer the remaining questions here by giving you reasons and examples, and you have to use here, or you have to complete the sentences here by using adverbial clause purpose. Okay, now the next type of the adverbial clause that we need to study today is concession. Now, what is concession? This clause shows contrast between two statements or shows a surprise. Now, let's study some of the example sentences here, and let's see how conjunctions are used in this sentence. First example, although ebooks are popular, so what's surprising there? Most people still prefer books, so that's quite surprising there. Next one, even though the roads have been widened, what's so surprising there? Heavy traffic has not been reduced. Okay, so that's it. So again, concession clauses shows something that is surprising or between two opposing statements. Okay, now I want you to do this exercise here, and I'm sure that you have understood this topic. Now, in this exercise, let's finish the sentence by giving your reasons and explanation. For example, although pressure group has been calling the attention of the government to stop the expansion of industrial companies, and what's so surprising there? Several lands in the outskirts and in the countryside have been converted to mining industries. So that statement is surprising because, again, despite the fact that pressure group has been calling the attention of the government to stop the expansion of industrial companies, still several lands in the outskirts or even in the countryside have been converted to mining industries. So I want you to finish these sentences here by using the adverbial clause concession, which shows again a surprise to the previous statement or a contrast between contrast to the previous statement. Okay, Now let's check here the last adverbial clause, which is the adverbial clause place. Now what is adverbial clause place? This talks about location or position. Now let's study here some of the example sentences. The first example sentence here, number 1, road signs, sign warnings should be placed wherever there is an accident-prone area. Alright, so again, the place here is wherever there is an accident-prone area, road sign warnings should be placed there. Alright, next example. Some taxpayers are uncertain of where their taxes go. So where do their taxes go? Do their taxes go to improving the infrastructure? Do their taxes go to improving the medical facilities? Do their taxes go to improving the system of education? Do their taxes go to improving the lives of the people, etc., etc.? So again, place the adverbial clause place here is signifies the position or location of something. Okay, now let's have here an exercise, and I'm sure you have understood this very surely. Now I'm sure that you have understood this part, so let's practice. In this exercise, I want you to finish the sentence by giving your reasons and explanation. For example here, no smoking signs must be posted wherever public places it may be. This includes not only the most common public place like restaurants, airports, and terminals, but also in small places where people gather, like in coffee shops, small dining areas, and stores. People come together in these places regardless of their age, gender, and health status, so smokers must find a place to enjoy their habit without affecting other citizens. Now, I want you to finish the last sentence here with your reasons and explanation. Alright, so this is the end of today's lesson, and in IELTS lessons in 15 minutes. And if you want to keep up with other lessons, I want you to click subscribe here and follow us on our channel. See you in the next lesson. Goodbye.